Hello and welcome back to The Room, the podcast brought to you by the LFC Transfer Room. Look at me stealing Richie's intro. I'm here today with Dan. How are you, Dan? One of the owners and co-owners of the LFC Transfer Room. How are you, mate? Good?
Hello. How we doing? If you're watching the YouTube podcast, you're gonna see a bunch of new things. You're gonna see handsome Kris. You're gonna see Alison Becker joining us for some reason, and you're also gonna see me using this HD 360 type of camera. So if you're not watching it, go watch it. But I'm doing good, Kris. How's it going?
Yeah, good, mate. Very good. And also Alison Becker, our best Alison Becker lookalike anyway, and Drew. Hopefully you're just as good as him in goal. But we'll be discussing the Carabao Cup today, and you might have to sit on the bench, Drew.
I mean, I guess I'll have to take that. But if I have front row suites to us winning the final, I'll take that all day long.
Absolutely. And as he once said off stream, simultaneously the highest and lowest voice of all time. But yeah, so we're going to start off, boys, with just a few transfer rumors, because before we get into all the Carabao Cup goodies, we have to discuss all the transfers as we are LFC Transfer Room. So apparently, Monaco have set an £80 million asking price for their midfielder Aurelien Tchouameni. The midfielder scored 2 goals last season and is viewed as one of the key assets in the French midfield. However, he does also want to stay at the club for the first 3 months of next season to make sure he is in contention for a World Cup spot. Dan, Tchouameni is a player that has been linked with a lot of top European clubs. £80 million. In comparison to some other midfielders, it might seem like a fair price, but how does it feel to you?
Brilliant. You said 18, right?
80.
80. I'm sorry if I scream at the microphone, but damn, I heard 18. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Tchouameni's not worth that much. He could eventually be worth 80 in a few years, but no, that seems ridiculous. At this point, it just seems like, Monaco they have their cards on their hands because I believe he's pretty young. He has a pretty long and extensive contract. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we've seen crazy things happen. So I think that not only his value could be around the 30 million, 35, but I think we can also get him for less than 40, 50. 80 is just Bellingham money. And, if we have that type of money, we're just bringing Bellingham in.
Yeah, I mean, he's people are sort of comparing him to Bellingham. He's a lot more defensive than Bellingham, a lot more box to box. A lot less box to box, than Bellingham. Drew, would he be the sort of profile of midfielder you'd be looking at, and is 80 million a fair price?
I don't think 80 million is a fair price. First and foremost, I think with that money, you should be looking at other options. Might as well get Bellingham, like Dan said. But I also think we don't have to enforce, at least for that amount of money with that kind of player at the moment. I'm more curious to see how this midfield carries forward. We got Curtis Jones in there. We got Tyler Morton for the more defensive side or box to box. So I'd like to see them getting a chance, and I'd only want to see that amount of money dropped on someone who's the finished article or is more likely to be like a Bellingham.
Well, Tchouameni's statistics, as seen on a video on the channel, are quite mouthwatering. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to get them up now, so Dan, you might have to edit this bit out.
Yes. Don't worry, go ahead.
His percentile statistics are ridiculous. 98th percentile for tackles in the top 5 leagues in the last year. 99th percentile for interceptions. 93rd for aerials won. 88th for shot total, actually. But I always like to look at the player comparisons that they do. And 5th on the list is Thiago Alcantara. Dan, does that? I know it's only a football reference, and I know it's only a bit of stats, but does that tempt you a little bit more?
Absolutely. I mean, of course, he's not going to be as good technically like Thiago, but when you watch him play, he's just so dominant, and his presence just brings you such stability in midfield. So if he could have some traits similar to Thiago's, I'm not sure why exactly, because when you watch Tchouameni play, he seems to me more of a less mobile Fabinho to me. I don't think he goes around the pitch as much as Fabinho, but he's so solid. I mean, his his tackles, his interceptions. I mean, he doesn't play around. It doesn't seem to be like that type of player that just likes to dribble past players and whatnot. So that's why I'm pretty surprised that Thiago comes as one of the comparison options. But I think mainly is because he's very versatile. He's playing as a defensive midfielder, but not in that number 6 role. He's playing on the side. I believe he's playing. I don't know if it's next to Fabregas or who is it that plays for Monaco next to him, but I believe it's a midfield too. But yeah, I mean, versatility, age, defensive ability. This is just a perfect profile for Liverpool to bring in and, eventually become Fabinho's understudy.
Yeah, I did say that Thiago was 5th, but the first on the list is Scott McTominay, so that might have put you off a little bit. But yeah, there's moving on to some other transfer news. Jude Bellingham has apparently rejected Manchester United, according to the Mirror, in favour of Liverpool. Which could potentially happen. Drew, we've mentioned Bellingham already. If he's rejected Manchester United in favour of Liverpool, I think he'll be endearing himself to the fans even more.
Oh, 100%. I wouldn't expect him to take the Manchester offer anyway. I don't see any player really wanting to take on that, position or that offer at this point. Manchester is not a settled club, so any young player should probably want some more certainty around their future. But we all know Jude is a big Liverpool fan, and that already puts him endearing into Liverpool fans, supporters' hearts. So good news to hear, and I think that's probably why I'm a big fan. I know some people think his price is inflated, and it's just kind of too much talk around him. But I always say that if you can get a supporter of the club into the team, that gives you 20% more effort than any other player. Like, they know what it means to be a Liverpool supporter and what it means when it steps out onto the pitch. Like, they make average players like Carragher solid players, like good players who can stay on the team. Like, you look at Harvey Elliott, you look at Trent, like, they're giving so much more just because they supported the club when they were boys. So if we can get as many players as possible in and around the team, someone like Bellingham is a perfect slot in for that.
I mean, talking of English players, Dan, apparently transfer specialist Dean Jones told Give Me Sport that Liverpool may still retain an interest in Jared Bowen, despite the fact that Liverpool did sign Luis Diaz in January. He's a player I love personally, as he's from the same town as me. But do you think that, with the Diaz signing, that Liverpool would go after another forward?
Absolutely, 100%. It makes complete sense, to be honest. If you think about it right now, how is the future looking like for Liverpool in their front line? You have Diogo Jota in the middle. You have Luis Diaz on the left side. But who do you have on that right side? It's not going to be Takumi Minamino. Salah's already 30 years old. Mane's already 29, 30 years old. Firmino's not going to play as a winger, obviously. Harvey Elliott seems like his future lies in midfield. And Kay Gordon still seems like he's way too young. Isn't he like 17 years old or something like that? Yeah. So if you want someone to become part of a solid front 3 line, you need someone that is at least 23 years old or up. And I think Jared Bowen seems like the perfect type of player to just bring in. We already looked at him. The stats match. He seems like the perfect type of player, versatility-wise. He can do both wings. And I was going to say that too. He can also be a striker or secondary striker, I think it is. He's quick, his dribble ability. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me. Why not? And in fact, we should totally do it. We need one more winger.
The only thing is, Drew, I think the transfer fee for Bowen might be a little bit inflated because West Ham will probably get at least Europa League this season. But what are your thoughts? Would you go after another forward?
I think Dan made a really good argument on who we're going to have take up the next steps. Maybe we have some time to play with that with Salah, hopefully still, signing on because no one will replace him. If he does sign and is with the club for the next few years. But, if he gets injured, we definitely need some cover there. Maybe we have enough cover at the moment, but I'm curious to see how the team looks once we get the outgoings in the summer, because I can imagine this affects midfield as well. We won't most likely won't hold on to Bobby, Mane, and Salah. Like, I'd be happy if we did, but we might lose one of them. And with the midfield, as much as you and I probably don't want to see Ox go, it looks like his time has come. Maybe
I've changed my mind, Drew.
I know. I was there. But if we start, offloading some players that have been in and around the team for the past few years, we'll definitely need players coming in. And Bowen excites me. He reminds me just like Jota. Like Jota's season on Wolves was, his last season. He was just peeking through. I remember reading, I think it was like a New York Times article saying that Jota had the closest numbers to Sadio Mane out of any transfer since for that kind of jump to the next level. And that's why Liverpool bought him. And Bowen's kind of reminding me of Jota. As much as I didn't rate him at the beginning of the season, he's continually proved me wrong. And I'd be happy to have him in the squad.
Yeah, so there's our transfer segment. We've had 10 glorious minutes of the LFC transfer room, but now it's the LFC Carabao room, and it's the Carabao Cup final week, gentlemen and boys. I'm buzzing for it. I'm going to the final. It's going to be incredible. Wembley's going to be rocked by Kris Stonadge, and not the other way around. But what are your overall thoughts, Dan? How positive are you going into it?
First of all, are we getting a YouTube vlog, Kris at a Wembley, or do you think you'll be
probably
too drunk?
Not. You probably don't want one, to be honest.
You'll probably be too
I'm
drunk.
going to be off my face.
Yes, that was the answer that I was. I'm sorry for the listeners, but that was the answer that I was looking for. Come on, it's a final. When was the last time Liverpool were in a Carabao Cup final? It's been a while.
It was 5 years ago, and we lost on pens to Man City.
Yes, it's going to be an important occasion because not many people, especially including their managers, they don't care about these type of cups. But as a fan, we try to win every single type of silverware, even if it's the Cherry Shield, and even if people tell you not, we want it. We just want silverware. So I think this is a perfect time for Liverpool to step up and prove to the world that maybe Jurgen Klopp doesn't really care as much for these cups, but we are able to get them. Maybe he doesn't care because he knows that we will win them. This is the right moment to prove to everybody that we're able to get these type of trophies.
Yeah, and I mean, Drew, this is the first time since 1982 that Liverpool have been in all 4 competitions at this stage of a season. It is quite unbelievable. And I think, I dread to say it, but there's a real possibility of a quadruple here. But this one, the first one, is always the most important, and I think we have to get this Carabao Cup over the line.
No, I 100% agree. I think this is a huge chance to make an early statement. Like, I can only imagine what carryover that will have for the players, and then what statement that would make for the league as well. I think City kind of has lost some impetus with getting knocked out of the cup, and with their stumble now. If we can capitalize that on win the Carling Cup, the League Cup, the one that they've won the past, is it 4 years in a row? So, like, to be able to knock that over and kind of have that psychological statement and then that boost going in for the rest of the competitions and the league, I 100% want us to take this. No, they will take it super seriously at this stage, and I want us to win it as, however we win it, however we get it over the line. I don't care if it's a cheeky, deflected own goal that wins us it. I just want us to get the trophy, see the celebration, and carry that for into every competition we're still in.
I also think that it's a huge sorry, I'm afraid. I also think it's a huge opportunity for people, well, at least for Liverpool, to prove that currently they're in a better situation squad wise, ability wise, than Chelsea. A bunch of Chelsea fans, and they think that Thomas Tuchel is better than Jurgen Klopp. A lot of them think that Silva is better than Virgil van Dijk, that Chilwell is better than Robertson, and James is better than Trent. They all have all these theories in their head and whatnot. So this is the perfect time, and hopefully they prove me right. This is the perfect time to just prove them wrong. Just we have a better side.
Exactly. And just before we get into it, we've got 2 big things coming up now. We've got the combined 11, which we're going to do, and I think we should do a predicted 11 as well before our predictions. I'm going to start off with combined 11. I'm not going to count Alisson in this because I don't think he will play, as has been confirmed. But Queevy and Kelleher, or it'll probably be Kepa Arrizabalaga, or Mendy. Drew, who would you choose?
I'd take Mendy if that's the option, but if it's Kepa, I'd take Kelleher 100%. I think Kepa is too antsy, and we know his previous antics, and I don't think a big stage suits him.
Well, yeah, it's certainly not Carabao Cup finals. I mean, he did try and he kept himself on, and it didn't really work out for him. So, poor Kepa. I mean, I think it's fair enough to not count Alisson in this because we all know we pick him, but he's definitely not going to play. So, Dan Kelleher,
Alisson Becker himself didn't choose Alisson, so I think that's enough. In fact, you know what, Kris? Could you imagine the cheeky Jurgen and Drew in the same place next to Jurgen and the actual Alisson? if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go check out Chris's vlog and interview with Cheeky Jurgen, which is basically the best lookalike that Jurgen Klopp has. And again, Drew looks exactly like Alisson. But yeah, Kelleher, and I'm pretty sure we can all agree maybe on the back line for Liverpool.
Kelleher will definitely play. Jurgen confirmed it. So
this is confirmed then.
Yeah.
Or it's an exclusive. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, would you pick him over Kepa? Or would you pick Mendy?
Mendy. Has definitely to be Mendy. It's going to be Mendy. We cannot even debate it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right back. I'm not even going to go to you two boys on this one. I'm going to overrule you. If even a conversation about Reece James being better than Trent can get in the mud, to be honest with you, because it's complete and utter waffle. Trent Alexander-Arnold is the best right back in the world. He's one of the best footballers in the world. So be quiet. Centre backs, boys. We'll go 4-3-3 because that's the formation that we're all used to. Centre backs, I think Virgil van Dijk, boys, is pretty clear.
Mm-hmm, I agree.
But who do you pick to partner him? I mean, you've got options here. You've got Joel Matip, you've got Ibu Konate, you've got Joe Gomez, but then on the Chelsea side, you've got Thiago Silva, you've got Antonio Rudiger, you've got Andreas Christensen. I'll go to you, Dan, first. Who do you pick to partner him?
Well, I think first we need to find the first contender for the Chelsea side, and it's an obvious one. Chelsea fans have been claiming all these last few weeks that Silva is better than Van Dijk and whatnot, which obviously is ridiculous. So we're going to take him as the main contender ahead of Rudiger, who, by the way, is such a class center back so far. So it's either him or Joel Matip. Matip has been having a wonderful season. Arguably the best defender that Liverpool has had this season as well. If you ask me from a biased perspective, I'll say Matip. But okay, so it could be a little bit less unbiased. I'm going to go ahead and say Thiago Silva.
True.
I'm going to go with Matip, and I don't think I'm being biased. I know he had the slip up against Leeds, but I think he offers something different than Thiago Silva. I think if Van Dijk was out of the equation, then Thiago Silva slips in. But I think Van Dijk covers most of what Thiago Silva offers. And Matip, as we've seen, he's been, unfortunately, a big creative influence when he goes on his mazy runs previously in the season. You'd expect some Liverpool midfielders to do that. But when we were scraping the bottom of the barrel on our team list, Matip was coming up splitting defenses. And I think his composure on the ball and the performances he's put in this season has showed that any side would be lucky to have him in their team. So I think he offers something different than Silva, and I'd put him in ahead with Van Dijk.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Marcus Alonso or Andy Robertson or Kostas Tsimikas. I'll go to you straight back to you, Drew.
I think it's hard to. Yeah, it's hard to look past Andy Robertson. I think he'd be so up for this game. I think when he gets jazzed, there's no one that can touch him. I'm a big fan of Alonso, and he's definitely a player. If he starts for Chelsea, I'd be worried about his set piece delivery and his ability to contribute in the final third. He also has a shot too, which unfortunately Andy Robertson couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. So, but regardless, I'll take the Scotsman for our left back combined 11.
Done.
Before we go there, Kris, did you give us your second center back option yet or no?
Oh yeah, I'll go Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva for me.
Yeah,
I love Joel, but Thiago Silva gets in it for me.
You were the ice. Yeah, you were the icebreaker. Yeah, here I will have to go with Robertson. If we're going fit players, Robertson or Smikas is the only way to go. Alonso, as much as I respect him as a player, he really isn't up to standards right now. So Robertson it is.
Yeah, I agree with that one. So moving on into defensive midfield, I'm going to say N'Golo Kante is not a defensive midfielder because I think he's often confused as one. He's a box-to-box midfielder, and that's why Fabinho is probably the first name on this team sheet for me.
We're playing a 4-3-3, right?
Playing a 4-3-3 with one anchor.
So someone has to be a defensive midfielder.
Fabinho. Fabinho's a defensive midfielder, and then
over Kante,
and then you put Kante in front of him. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay. I like that.
Drew, what are your thoughts? Defensive midfielder, you go for Fabinho?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you for that one. I think Kante with Fabinho, but Fabinho over Jorginho for sure.
I like that.
And also, you gonna go for the same two?
Absolutely. And I want to take the second just to say that Jorginho doesn't get anywhere near that combined 11, and even if it's a 4-4-2, even if it's a 4-3-3, even if it's whatever it is, the only reason Jorginho won that what was the award that he got, the FIFA
he came third in the Ballon d'Or.
Oh, Ballon d'Or, but he won the
midfielder of the year or something
like that. But the only reason he did it was because Italy obviously won the Euros, and then Chelsea won the Champions League. He's not nowhere near the best midfielder, not even in the Premier League. So let's take him out of the conversation. Midfield has to be Fabinho, N'Golo Kante, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw my shot saying Thiago. What about you guys?
It's difficult. But
it's Thiago.
Actually, no, it's not difficult. It's not difficult. It is Thiago. It's got to be. Surely.
There we go.
Drew? I'll throw a monkey wrench in that. I think.
Don't say Elliot.
I wouldn't say it. No, it has to. For me, it's either Pulisic or Mount. I'm gonna represent the American.
Gnarly, dude. Yeah.
I know I'm gonna represent the. But to be fair, how often has he come up against us and scored? Each game I think he's played against us, he's come up with a ridiculous performance. And for a Carabao Cup final, I'm most worried about him or Mason Mount if Mount can get back onto the pitch for that game. So I think either of them deserves that third spot.
Yeah, it's got to be Thiago though. It's got to be Thiago.
I mean, y'all can take it if you want, but
Drew, don't sit there with a straight face and tell me you take Mason Mount over Thiago. Come on, bro. Come on.
It's for the goal scoring. Once you have Kante in, like Kante and Fabinho, like I'd put Thiago is obviously making my starting 11 for Liverpool. But with Kante in the team for our combined 11, I'm going with a guy who can get a goal in midfield and who is likely to do that.
Kante and Thiago would work so well together because Kante's just like a box-to-box. He goes everywhere. Thiago's a playmaker. I think it would be beautiful. I suppose they can't get many goals, but
I'll tell you what, though. I mean, from good shout from Drew. I mean, if we are doing this podcast with some Chelsea fans, I can guarantee you they're going to throw Mason Mount's name in there regardless. So we all know that it's Thiago, but Mason Mount is definitely a good shout. I just don't think. I mean, Thiago.
Put Mason Mount in the front three.
No, you know who's going to be in that front three, Kris. Come on, let's move on and let's see those options.
Well, Jurgen Klopp confirmed today that Jota and Firmino may be available. They are doing everything they can to try and get those two ready for the Carabao Cup final. We're going to start off with Mo Salah, who is definitely in the team. There's no debate whatsoever. I don't think we can put Lukaku in.
No.
He's on paper, right? Unbelievable goal scoring record in every way. But the last couple of weeks since he did his whole Inter-Easter thing, he's not very good, Drew.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't put Lukaku in. I also think he never performs against Liverpool. Long may that continue. Touch wood, but I don't think he makes it in the team. And I'd actually push Kai Havertz in. I think that's a player I wish we had signed. And I think with the absence of for sure Jota in the lineup, or I think he takes it over the other options.
Yeah, it's touch and go with Jota, but maybe he'll get back in. Dan, are you putting Lukaku in or not?
I don't know, man. I mean, obviously, this is not 2020 or 2021. We're not talking about the same Lukaku that was at Inter Milan. But as long as Jota is a maybe, I'm praying for sure Jota, and as a striker. I think that for me, the question is who's going to be that left wing. But as far as the striker goes, it has to be Jota. He has the second most goals in the league right now.
Yeah.
Behind Mohamed Salah. So I mean, Jota and Salah have to go in there. Now, I don't know about you guys, boys. What do you guys think on that left side? Do you guys go with Mane or?
I'm gonna go with Drew, and I'm gonna say Havertz in the middle and Jota on the left.
Havertz has been having a pretty good season, huh?
It's been okay. I still think he would do better in a different system. I think I don't think he's been played in the right way by Tuchel. I think he's got a system where it works brilliantly with certain players. Havertz this year has only scored 6 goals in all competitions, 2 of those being in the League Cup. Last year he scored 9 goals in all competitions, one of those in the Champions League final, of course. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I really like him. I really, really, really like him. But at the same time, Lukaku, boys, I know he's been in a bad vein, but at any point he could nick a goal. I just don't know. I don't know if we can write him off this quickly.
It's going to be a tough one. I'm also trying to debate, but the only reason that I'm debating is because I'm thinking of the 2020-2021 Lukaku. This season's Lukaku, he's trying to leave the club, and Tuchel didn't even play him for a few games. So in current form, I cannot go with Lukaku. I just can't, and only because we need to add some balance to this combined 11, I'll go with Havertz as well. But if we're being realistic, I'll go with Matty.
Or you just throw Sadio Mane in there, and it's a front three that's all Liverpool.
That's what I'm thinking too. But just so we can add some more balance to the whole combined 11, we can just.
Should we just put Havertz in there and avoid the abuse from the Chelsea fans? I think that's got.
Wait, I'm gonna give you a different option, guys. Havertz or Mount as a winger, of course.
Or Pulisic.
That's not a bad shout as well. I think we can all agree.
I don't think they get ahead of Liverpool's wingers though. Like, I'd argue to put Diaz in the starting 11 because I'm operating off Jota not being fit or 100%. Because if he was 100%, he would go in up top for me, and it would be Diaz, Jota, and Salah.
It's a tough one, huh?
I don't know. I really don't know what I think. What I'll do, we'll go for Salah, Havertz, and Jota. Because I think that was the sort of overwhelming thing before, like that combines everything of all of ours. So our team of available players on current form, combined 11, is Mendy, Trent, Silva, Virgil, and Robbo. Fabinho, Kante, Thiago, Salah, Havertz, Jota. So there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 Chelsea players and 7 Liverpool players. I think that's a fair reflection.
The only reason that Alisson's not there is not because he's not fit. It's mainly because just close. Yeah, but I would like to, in the last minute that we have left, I would like to ask you guys questions. When both are fit, who do you choose, Mendy or Alisson?
Oh, Alisson. There's no debate. No debate.
Yeah, I would agree as well. But the second best goalkeeper in the league right now is fair to say that is Mendy, right?
100%.
Yeah. Oh.
Who are you putting ahead of him?
Ederson.
No.
I would take Ederson over Mendy purely because of the longevity. I think Mendy's had probably a season and a half of being excellent, whereas Ederson's been doing it for 5 years. I also think Nah. Ederson and Mendy are on a par for me purely because I think Ederson's got so much over him on the distribution side of things. But Mendy's probably a better goalkeeper.
I think Ederson has more mistakes in him than Mendy.
I think it's as an actual goalkeeper, yeah.
When all fit, just 3 players get in the team then, right? Or 2, probably just 2 Chelsea players get in the team.
I'll say we got to say Lukaku probably gets in. I don't know. I'll just leave it as it is. Before we go. Prediction for the final. Dan, how are you feeling? What is your score predictions and who's scoring?
Oh man, if it was a different team, I will say a comfortable win from Liverpool. But knowing Tuchel's tactics and all, I'm gonna say the Liverpool are gonna win it in penalties. It's gonna be a tough match.
I don't think I could deal with that in the crowd. Drew?
I think it would be similar to the Champions League final with Liverpool-Tottenham. I think Liverpool will have like a very kind of boring, dragged out 2-0 win. Goal in the first half and then a goal in the closing minutes of the second half.
Who's scoring?
I think Mo Salah for the first and maybe Luis Diaz for the second, or Jota coming on. But
I like it.
Yeah. I'm worried if Chelsea start a more mature side, but if they start Lukaku and some forward players like that don't track back, I think Liverpool have a chance to hit them on the breaks.
I'm going to say we'll win 1-0, and I still think there's a chapter to be written in the story of Divock Origi. So Divock Origi's going to score in the last minute.
Or the Ox maybe.
Nah,
he's not even going to make the bench, Kris.
He's not going to make the bench. No, that's fine. That's fine with me. I've given up on him now. I've moved on.
No, I'm talking about Divock.
Oh, yeah, he's going to make the bench, mate. Did you not see him the other day? He was quality. When he came on. But yeah, there's another story to be written. There is no way that Jurgen Klopp doesn't put Divock Origi on that field if we need a goal. I'm sorry. He is getting put on, whatever happens. He is calm as you like in front of goal in big situations. And I just think I've just got this feeling he's not finished yet. It's not done. He's got 6 months left. There's another chapter to be written in his his story. Sorry. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. But yeah, that has been another episode of The Room. Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers to Drew and to Dan. And hopefully next time we're recording one of these, or whoever's recording one of these, we will be Carabao Cup 2022 winners. We'll see you in the next episode.